Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Crunch Fitness. Memberships as low as $9.99 per month. Find your Crunch time in Portland, Vancouver, and online at crunch.com. First on The Fan, the Trailblazers continue their homestand this evening, hosting the Clippers. 7 o'clock tip on K2 2.2 on your antenna and 302 on Xfinity. Donovan Clingan out at least a week after spraining an ankle in Sunday's loss to the Nets. Robert Williams III, Jeremy Grant, Matisse Thybulle, they are all out as well. Denny Avdia is a game-time decision. The Blazers are 7-point dogs. In the college game, Oregon State men's basketball 10-1 at home. They're hosting number 16 Gonzaga. That is an 8 o'clock tip on the CBS Sports Network. The Portland Pilots looking for their first conference win of the season, hosting Pacific on the Bluff. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 6:30. Tip at 7 o'clock. It can also be seen on ESPN+. And sad news for Major League Baseball. Legendary Brewers broadcaster and actor Bob Uecker passed away this morning. Uecker spent 6 seasons in the bigs as a backup catcher before becoming the voice of the Brewers in 1971, and likely best known as Harry Doyle from the Major League movies. Bob Uecker was 90. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Tired of getting dinged by subscriptions? We won't send you a bill. Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. This is Danny and Dusty.
Meringatang is going to be a thing.
You're not coining anything new.
With Danny Meringue and Dusty, the Fan Man Hera.
I'll throw some monkey sounds in there and call it good.
The old Danny Meringue pie?
Danny and Dusty on the Odyssey app and 1080.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome.
The Fan.
Good afternoon! Hey, welcome in. Happy Thursday. Danny and Dusty with you. How's everybody doing today?
Splendiferous.
Whoa.
Stupendous.
Is that
wonderful.
a word? Is
Yeah.
splendiferous a word? Is that or did we make that word
Look,
up?
I make it up, man. I make it up as I go. I played
All right.
basketball
So
last
when
night
you-
and didn't hurt myself. So it's a good day.
Okay.
It's a good day.
All right. That's your bar?
Yeah. Considering last time I played, I pulled my groin for the first time
So
in my life.
why?
I love it.
You love getting hurt?
No, and I love playing. The mental state that it put me in afterwards, I have not felt in quite some time.
What do you mean?
Just good. Like, I just felt really good. Ball is life.
Ball is life. All right.
No,
Well, I'm happy for you. I'm happy you didn't get hurt.
I'm being more responsible. I played one game.
Okay.
So I shot around, went through a very hefty warm up. I'm now to the point where the Theragun is going to go into my bag.
Yeah, that's a good.
Like,
that's a good idea.
We're going to use that for pre and post.
That's a good idea.
Now, here's what I want to know. When it comes to the pickup hoops with Senor Danny Meringue, are you the chucker or are you like the ultimate box out guy in the
No.
lane?
I'm still a point guard. I still handle the ball, but I am a setup point guard. I am a drive and kick, as it were.
Yeah.
I shouldn't drive as much as I do, but I do. But
we're not even talking about basketball here anymore.
No, that probably too. But no, my game has always been Andre Miller point guard,
Drive and kick.
where drive and kick and a lot of mid post up.
And then every now and then you might get a 50-point game.
Yeah, but no, I've never been somebody who likes to shoot a ton. I've always preferred to set people up. Like I like to drive and draw too and find the extra guy.
I'm going to pull the old Will Ferrell and go, I don't believe you.
No, well, you're not anybody who's ever played with me. It's not. I've never been like I've liked being the role player.
I can't imagine you playing basketball.
You can't?
No.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Why?
In my mind, I just don't know what that looks like.
It's actually a lot more coordinated than you think.
Well, I imagine that because I don't know what I'm imagining right now. I mean, Danny, let's our frame of reference here. You have had major hip surgery
twice.
You pulled your hamstring watching a football game. You got injured as we were walking out of a stadium in Washington, D.C. You were like, hamstring's going. I can't imagine you actually playing a sport.
Wait, I'm not sure. Did that one get brought up on the show?
No.
I don't think I heard about that.
No.
Well, because he made it to the show on Monday. Yeah. Like
my whole right leg like locked up.
You act very surprised that I can't imagine this, but come on.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
look, it's so I have. No, you're not wrong. So there are some days when stuff feels relatively normal.
Yeah.
And on other days, it feels the absolute worst. That's just kind of like. So I think I brought this up. I'm training to do a 1,200-pound club, to lift 1,200 total pounds through 3 lifts.
Mm-hmm. I thought this was going to sound like a TLC series or something.
No. Like deadlift, squat, bench.
1,200-pound club.
Yeah. No. Deadlift, squat, bench is basically what I'm trying to do. And I'm almost to where I need to be on deadlift and squat. Not quite there on the bench. I got to add another probably 25, 30 pounds. But in training for it, the thing that I've realized is...
Danny blew out his voice yelling at his dog.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these things have happened. These injuries have happened.
No, these all have happened.
The 1,200 pounds.
No. Like, the whole thing is, like, I've had to swallow my pride, and on days that I don't have it, I can't. Like, it's just like, I just like do like a significantly lighter workout. Where in the past, I would be like, screw this, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And then I would hurt myself. Or now, like, majorly hurt myself because you're talking about a lot of weight. And it's been this weird kind of process. And it was like yesterday, I was feeling pretty good. I was like, my legs were a little bit sore from the workout 2 days before. I was like, you know what would be a really good idea? Get out on the basketball court and kind of run this out. Open it up a little bit, because I've been doing so much stuff. It's about tightening everything. I was like, let's lengthen some things out. And I went through, I probably got a couple hundred shots up yesterday before I played in the game. Just back and forth. And it was like, okay, let's play a game. They're like, you want to run 5s? I'm like, yeah. I ran 5s, and then everybody in there was half my age, and I said, 1.
Yeah.
1 is all we're doing.
I was having this conversation a little while ago. I feel as if recreationally, I have sprinted for the last time in my life.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get up to full speed. That's for damn sure.
I don't think that I'm ever going to do that, because I'm just like, yeah. I mean, is
Bennett going to challenge you to a race, though, here in 2 years, and you're probably going to go for it, or are you going to?
No.
You should let it happen.
No.
Okay.
No, I'll trip him. I mean, what are you guys talking about? Yeah, I'll race him, but I'm going to cheat. No, I feel like the benefits and
the risk reward is way skewed.
Unbalanced now. Like, I'm just sitting there going, all right, I could rupture my Achilles, calf, hammy, no,
fall and break a hip.
I don't think I'm ever going to sprint again.
No.
See,
I have for joy. Now, for my life, I may have to.
Yeah.
I mean, for somebody else's life, I may have to at some point. I just don't think
But a
it's
willing
gonna
decision for something non-life threatening.
Yeah, I think I'm done sprinting.
Yeah, no, like, even last night, I don't sprint. That's for damn sure. Now, I have found over the post hip surgery, like, the ability for me to actually gear up and down is back.
I don't want to picture Danny gearing down.
No, I could actually hit a Euro step. I could actually slow down and it not stop me. But the problem is, the court we were playing on last night was pretty dirty. I was like, the slide, I was worried. Like, that's how you know you're old.
Yeah.
Like, when I was younger, the court's slick a little bit, and you're like, oh, no big deal. Like, now I'm like, if I try to stop too hard, I might tear something.
Yeah.
So you play within the confines of, don't go too fast, don't go too slow.
Yeah, I'm just nope. I mean, not worth it to play basketball anymore.
I loved it.
See, and I think the last time I was in a full sprint was probably the fan NFL Combine.
Yeah.
And that was a while ago. I think,
I
don't know, a good 10 years or so. Yeah. And I remember thinking that I don't think my body could keep up with my legs.
Yeah, I got a bad back now. Once you get 40, you're like, why?
I still think I have a broken bone in my foot from that event too.
Well, I bet you do.
On the shuttle run.
Look, my dad thought he had gout. It turned out he was walking around on a broken foot for 2 years.
Yeah.
So that
I can feel the bone slip every now and then. It's not good.
Oh man. Yeah, I think there's something to just transitioning to a world of, cornhole, spike ball, the ladder golf, that you play, just normal golf. Like these, there's a reason.
For sure.
There's a reason why, you go to that. I don't need to be running around. Like I got bad back, I got bad shoulder.
Yeah.
Like I haven't dislocated my shoulder in several years. That is new. But guess what?
It's always there.
It coincides with me not doing all of the dumb stuff I used to do. So I'm here for it.
Doctor said I need a backiotomy.
I do.
I'd be lying if I said I don't want to play in an over 40 basketball league or 35 and older, whatever I can find.
Boy, there is nothing that I would want to watch less than over 40 basketball.
I guarantee you too. If Danny goes out for an over 40
But for you-
basketball league, and if they go shirts and skins, Danny's like, "I'm skins."
No, there's nothing that I would want to watch less than over 40s basketball. If you're playing, I would want to go and watch that. I would want to watch it because now I'm intrigued on what it looks like when you play basketball because it's just not something that
It doesn't compute.
I just never envisioned.
Yeah.
You know? I just never envisioned like you going out and hooping, you know? But question is, are you wearing a hair tie now? Because your hair is
God, there it
very
It's not a hair tie.
Karen-y.
It's headband. I threw it on last night. I tried.
Wait, so what are you doing? Are you talking like one of them soccer headbands?
No, I just imagine you with like high socks, a headband.
I didn't go high socks. It was ankle socks. But yes.
Are you wearing a jersey?
No, God, no. I would never do that. No, the last time I wore a jersey was when I played for the Air Force Base team. So 20 years ago. Yeah. So it's the last time I wore a jersey.
It sounds like the cable guy. Just thinking of Jim Carrey and
With the mouthpiece. Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I do love me some high
It's
socks.
like you're about to get in the spin cycle, baby.
No, ankle socks. I was the only one on the court with ankle socks.
See, yeah, times have changed.
A lot of calf socks.
Times have changed.
Very weird.
Well, it was impossible it was hard to find the ankle socks back in the day. Now it's like everybody wants to wear the mid-calf sock. You know?
I don't like it.
No.
It's either the ankle sock or it's knee high. There's no in between.
Yeah, Keith Van Hornet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
I
was a lacrosse guy too, so I mean we all wore the knee highs.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely want to. I
good.
want to play in an adult.
In an adult league?
Yeah.
Because
I had to guard
so
this
much
20
promo material out of
Oh,
this
God.
first
Yeah,
segment.
dude, I'll support you in that endeavor.
I had to
just
guard
like-
this 20-year-old kid last night,
Yeah.
brother. I was holding on for dear life.
See that
Holding on for. He was so fast. He was so fast.
See? This is another reason
Yeah.
why it's like, well, why?
Yeah, but
Like, why?
he had.
What are we doing here?
I guarantee you, he was fed up with me because I was putting my shoulder into him, cutting him off, and just bumping him at every time. I'm like, I'm gonna wear this kid down. Like, I'm,
Just almost sweat on him.
Oh,
I just think of
no.
Along Came Polly.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller's face just. You're like, how you like that? You don't sweat like this when you're 20, do you?
oh, buddy, it was hand check rules. I was giving him the Ron Harper treatment.
This
I
is
was
20 extra years.
I had a hand on his hip, pushing him out wide on everything. I'm like, no, brother, you're not doing this. And even when he did get by me, I'd turn around and just kind of give him a little bump on the way to the rim. I'm like, you're half my age, but no, I'm not going to allow this to happen.
These pores got 20 extra years of seasoning. This sweat's different, pal.
No, it was like I said, it was good. I got done, and I was like, I had just had a big smile on my face. I was like, this felt good.
I can see Danny like planning out like the meal the night before. It's like, all right, let's see, I'm gonna go play basketball tomorrow, so we need something with a lot of garlic. So the 20-year-old's not gonna want to get close to me. I'm just sweating it out of my pores. How do you feel about curry tonight, honey? I got a hoop tomorrow. I need to get a little stank.
Wash it down
on
with a little
me.
vodka sauce. Garlic and vodka. just
That's
coming
old
through
man
the board.
game right there.
There you go.
That's old man game.
I like it. No, it was. But no, I had the headband on.
I like it.
I tried to go without it, but it's everywhere, and it's in my face, and I had to get the like Russ said, the soccer headbands, the thin ones.
Yeah.
See, I love this from the old
you do.
Vancouver Ford
You do.
text line. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. 5'10" white guy here. The only thing I run is my mouth.
I don't get up to a full sprint, but I get above a jog.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
We're approaching 3/4 speed.
Yeah.
You know, but it's about how you change speeds, not how fast you can go.
That's what slow people say.
Hey, I can get to where I want to on the floor.
I mean, yeah, tell that too fast guy. He's like, yeah, okay. See ya.
Danny's still got some realizations coming to him pretty soon in the next couple years.
No, no,
Brother.
no. The realizations have come. I
just don't accept them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, there we go.
And that's what I appreciate.
Yeah, that's what it
is that he is never going to be told what to do. But it went well. You're here. Are you sore today?
Mildly, but I'm saying I
felt good.
I feel good. Yeah,
felt good. All right.
Yeah, look good, feel good, play good.
You're damn right. With that headband, ankle socks.
Yeah, the headband was a choice.
Yeah.
I had the short shorts on yesterday too. There was a lot of thigh
boy.
meat.
Yeah, so it sounds like you looked like me when I showed up to
Dude,
the fan combine.
Yeah, now you really do need to wear a jersey.
A lot of thigh meat.
You need to go short shorts and a jersey just because that
Did you
20-year-old's
just
not
go
going to.
me? Is that what you said?
Thigh meat.
Oh, sorry. I thought I heard something different.
No.
I'm going to go ahead. You guys go ahead. I'm going to turn off my microphone now.
You do need to go jersey because that 20-year-old, he's not going to want a piece of that. If you go jersey.
No.
Like, and not like an actual basketball. Like, I'm talking, you go down to the rec center and you get yourself something nice and thin with big holes in it, and you just muscle them around. All right. Well, I'm assuming that was 4 blocks from your house where you played.
Yeah, George Fox.
No, 2 blocks.
Well,
everything's 2 blocks.
Well, I know, but I was going to widen it out. I didn't know about the gym. So 4 blocks? 4 blocks? 2 or 4?
We'll go 4.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess, college campuses, I guess, can have a pretty good size.
Yeah. Yeah.
There might be a couple more blocks.
You're not going to get on some sort of watch list. Just roaming around that campus. Just
No,
40-year-old guy just roaming.
Good.
Well, no, because they're not minors.
Campus,
They're not minors.
Campus security doesn't have their eye out for that guy. Like, hey, that guy in the headband.
Look, man, I've seen
that guy in the headband in the short shorts.
I've seen some weird stuff around Newburgh. So no, I'm in the clear. I'm in the clear.
All right, let's get this show on the road, shall we? We got a lot of football. We have our picks coming up at 2:00 today. We got some NFL playoff rundowns. I saw something that it sparked my interest, and I have a question as to whether or not it has people trusting Dan Lanning's roster management a little bit more. But where we got to start, we've got an update for the hometown team. This is something that Danny, you were kind of dreading yesterday. Something to keep a watchful eye on, though, with Donovan Clingan and his bum ankle. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. All right, we got an update from the Portland Trailblazers on the status of rookie big man Donovan Clingan. Reevaluate him in a week. Not the worst news, but not the best news.
No, this is probably the best news you could have hoped for, to be honest. With the way he hit the ground and the way he looked, because he originally grabbed his
knee.
He grabbed his knee, which we all went, "Oh, come on, man!"
Yeah.
And then typically when you see a professional athlete hit the floor like that and get that angry, it's not because they're mad at somebody else. They're mad that they got hurt in a way that's probably pretty bad.
Yeah.
And when I don't know if it made it on TV or not, but there's a like a cloth tunnel they roll out that gives some privacy as they go in through the back tunnel, and he smacked the crap out of it. Like he was pissed, and I was like, great, awesome. You know, when you see all of that in one, you're like, he probably just got like a high ankle sprain and he's done for 6-8 weeks.
But that also may just be him. Because we talked to Danny Hurley. We know the competitive nature
He's
of
a psychopath.
That is an ankle that bothered him earlier this year. It's probably like the re-aggravation is probably what upset him in that, oh, this happened again. Not as like in hindsight now that we look back on it and we say reevaluate it in a week. But also that means nothing.
Yeah.
Like you could have a 6-week injury, reevaluate it in a week, and then we'll say, sorry, going to be out a month.
I will say you never know until the player's back. But from what I've been told, dodged a bullet.
That's good because you were a little.
Oh no, I was
about
legitimately
that yesterday.
concerned. Yeah, I was because I was asking around and see if there was any updates and hey, if we heard back on the scans and no news with not anybody getting back to me. That always raises an eyebrow and I'm like, oh man. And then I started getting word a little bit later, like, hey, it's gonna be okay. I was like, okay, cool. And then we get the official word out that just a week. All right, cool. But yeah, he's likely going to miss at least 4 games. He could come back based on the timeline for the last road game on this 3-game trip that's coming up against Charlotte. I don't think so. I think they'd probably look to bring him back at home for the most part. That's just kind of been the case. Also, don't rush him back.
Yeah.
They come back for a 7-game homestand before the All-Star break. Get him in there. And here's the thing.
And also, good players against bad teams like Charlotte, probably not in your best interest.
No. And did they end up pulling off the win last night? I think they did. I know. I was looking at the entirety of the tankability of the NBA last night, and pretty much everything went Portland's way except for one game.
Brooklyn.
Boy. Yeah,
they did win. They beat the Jazz 117.
Yeah, the Raptors won. The Pelicans won, which they should not have won. My God, they should not have won. Did you see?
I don't know what happened in that game.
There was an egregiously bad goaltend that was not called in the final seconds.
Was Scott Foster on the game?
No, he wasn't.
Oh.
But those who remember, October of 2012, Scott Foster blew a goaltending call so bad against LaMarcus Aldridge that it cost the Blazers the game in overtime.
Against the Thunder.
You had the Jazz and Hornets where it was the great tank off of like, who wins here? It's going to be meaningful, kind of a deal. And then the Clippers just missed doubling up the Nets. The Nets were so furious about beating the Portland Trailblazers that they sat everyone.
Yeah, point differential does not matter in the NBA.
It does not. No, they ended up losing by 59 last night.
They had 3 consecutive quarters failing to score 20 points.
Mm-hmm. They went to score 21, 14,
Wild.
16, and 16. And in
That
case
is
you're
crazy.
wondering, the Clippers scored 37, 44, and 24. And this game was tied at 21 after 1. So, yeah. The difference in the game, 59, was only 8 less points than the Clippers or the Nets scored, 67.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I mean, they sat everyone, dude.
Everyone.
No Cam Johnson, no Ben Simmons, no D'Angelo Russell, no Nick Claxton.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, it was the who he play for Olympics. This was a gold medal game. Gold medal game.
All right, so that worked out well for the Blazers. So now you have the Hornets pick up their 9th win. The Jazz are still at 10. The Nets are 14 and 27, but that was a big loss for the hometown
The one
team.
team that is uncatchable is Washington.
But the Raptors, man.
Yeah.
They beat the
Celtics.
Celtics.
Look, we haven't talked about this because we don't care about the East Coast for the most part.
We have West Coast bias here.
But everybody's like, oh, the Celtics will be fine. Oh, the Celtics will be fine. And they probably will.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, oh, the Cavs need to go through them. And they do in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The Cavs are the best team in basketball right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the Celtics. It is the Cavs.
They play the Oklahoma City Thunder again tonight.
Yep.
That's fun.
Let's be fun.
That game had 30 lead changes last time
incredible.
they played.
30 lead changes, 8 ties, and it was an incredibly well-played basketball game. 129-122 was the last game. So I'm hoping it's that again, and it should have the same kind of lead-up. But the interesting thing about last night and what took place, I documented it all last night. So let me grab the actual tweet because there's a bunch of numbers behind it as far as where everybody sits, right?
Okie dokie.
The Trailblazers are at 13 wins.
Okay.
13, okay?
That's one more than 12.
Yes. The Pelicans,
one less than 14.
Pelicans beat the Mavs. There are now 3 teams with 10 wins.
All
Pelicans, right. Jazz, and Raptors.
We can catch
now,
them.
the Jazz and Hornets played last night, and the Jazz did not win, so if they had, they would have gone up to 11. But the Hornets did, so they're now up to 9. Okay? So if you look at this, the Blazers at 13 wins are 3 games out of the 3rd seed, or the 3rd worst record in the NBA. 3 games.
All right.
3 games, guys.
And they've got 2 against the Hornets, 2 against the Raptors, 2 against the Jazz, 1 against the Nets, 2 against the Wizards.
And if there's something that I believe in this franchise doing down the stretch in the All-Star break, it is being the worst team in the NBA.
Dang, son. All right.
Remember the line after for the final 41 games I set was 9.5 games.
Mm-hmm.
9.5 wins in the final 41.
Over.
Mm-hmm.
No, under.
Yeah.
Under.
9 wins at 13 would put you at 22.
Yeah.
Does that really sound that crazy?
No, it sounds like last year's team.
Yeah, and the year before,
Yeah, sounds about right.
So, it's like the thing that is happening is that I said was going to happen. Things are tightening up. Washington, you're not catching. They're a level of bad that you can't fathom. Yeah. But Brandon Ingram's going to play. Zion Williamson's going to play. CJ McCollum's going to play. DeJounte Murray's going to play. The Pelicans, as bad as they are, they're going to win.
Yeah, they are. And I mean, to your point about the Pelicans, last night you mentioned how bad the Pelicans uniforms were against Portland.
Mm-hmm.
What were the Celtics wearing?
No idea.
They reminded me of those.
It's that same nasty highlighter green.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
Yeah,
that's why they lost to the Raptors.
Yeah, that look needs to go.
It does need to go.
The Celtics, if you're one of the traditional franchises, stick with your traditional stuff. Like you can have like they have the white and gold ones.
Sure,
those are kind of cool. I like those. It's a different look, but like you don't get to do like Oregon highlighter green. That's not. Yeah. No, you're a franchise that has been around for 100 years. You don't get to do that.
What it reminded me of was I think the world's worst uniforms, those Michigan State highlighter.
Yeah,
they're dark green and highlighter green.
What the hell are those?
Yeah, right. That's what it reminded me of last
night.
Very,
very reminiscent.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I guess the other little news and note here is that there was a report from Hoops Hype about Robert Williams III being available for multiple second-round picks.
Oh.
I will absolutely annihilate that report.
Okay.
I have been told that the Blazers would not move him for that.
Okay.
So I don't know where that is coming from. I do not believe the Blazers in any way, shape, matter, or form would move Robert Williams III for second-round picks.
So draft compensation, though, they may be off on what that draft compensation looks like, but oftentimes when these reports come out, it is draft compensation as opposed to getting a younger player in return for Robert Williams.
The way I understand it is they very much value him as not only a player, but as a locker room guy and a culture guy. And they are not just going to give him up because his ability on the floor, again, the availability is always the question. His ability is not in question. If they are going to give him up to a team, they know that if he does play those final 30 games of the regular season and he's viable for a team in the playoffs, like the Thunder, who lack size and could make this deal work very, very easily, that could swing a title the same way Drew Holiday did.
Well, and so if it's a team like the Thunder, then would it not behoove them to, since that's somebody with an
endless amount of
draft capital,
yes,
you could go with a first-round pick because you know that also an Oklahoma City Thunder first-round pick is not the same as, say, a New Orleans Pelicans first-round pick.
Slide to that Clippers first-round pick that they have.
Yeah,
Well, I'm just saying, but so
no.
but
here's the
if
thing,
you're getting
they're
a pick
not-
that you
they're-
know is going to be around 20 to 24,
Yeah.
as opposed to 2 second-round picks, and so
I don't even think they'd move him for like a heavily protected first. I think they would want a viable first for him.
Yeah. You mentioned Robert Williams as big culture guy.
Mm-hmm.
Just on the surface, doesn't sound that great. The guy who got his nickname of Time Lord for habitually being late, being the culture guy of the young Portland team. He's turned it around.
It's all vibes.
Okay.
It's all vibes. Time is a flat circle with Rob.
Yeah. But that's like, he's a culture guy. It's like, no, he's just he is a professional.
Yes,
He's a professional, and that's what they're looking for.
And they want.
He's a good guy.
Yeah,
in the locker
and
room.
they want guys like him in the locker. Every team wants a guy like him in the locker room.
They just want him there on time.
Whatever.
That's where a nickname can stick with you if you're late a few times early in your life, and then boom, sticks with you forever. People don't forget.
people don't forget.
All right, 503-864-6326. That is the Vancouver Ford text line. There's something that I saw. 2 former Oregon Ducks getting pretty high praise in the National Football League. Is this reason to trust where Dan Lanning's taken the Oregon roster? That After Rust with SportsCenter.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Langdon Farms Golf Club. Good or bad weather, the golf course always the driest around. Download the Langdon Farms app today to get all the latest news and specials. First on the Fan, the Trailblazers continue their homestand tonight, hosting the Clippers. 7 o'clock tip on K2 2.2 on your antenna, and 302 on Xfinity. Donovan Clingan out at least a week after spraining an ankle in Sunday's loss to the Nets. Robert Williams III, Jeremy Grant, Matisse Thybulle, they're all out. Denny Avdia is a game-time decision. The Blazers are 7-point underdogs. A TNT doubleheader tonight in the association. First up at 4:30, another matchup of the top 2 teams in the league. Cavaliers at the Thunder. OKC are 2-point favorites. That's followed by the Kings, 4-point favorites hosting the Rockets. In the college game, Oregon State men's hoops, 10-1 at home, hosting number 16 Gonzaga. That's an 8 o'clock tip on CBS Sports Network. And the Portland Pilots looking for their first conference win, hosting Pacific on the Bluff. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 6:30. Tip at 7 o'clock. It can also be seen on ESPN. Round 1 of the American Express underway at La Quinta, California. And we've got at the top of the leaderboard, Joel Damon. He is at 8 under par through 15 holes, 1 stroke clear of Matt Schmidt. Mark Hubbard is 2 strokes back at 6 under par. Will Zalatoris, Jason Day are 4 off the pace at 4 under. Patrick Cantlay, 2 under. Wyndham Clark, Ricky Fowler at 1 under par, and Tony Finau is tied for 110th at even through 14. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
All right, the nominees for the Rookie of the Year have been rolled out in the world of college football. Or the NFL, sorry. Jeez, college football. The 6 finalists for the Rookie of the Year, we know who's going to win.
Yeah, no, this is not going to come as a shock.
The 6 finalists are Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders, Bo Nix of the Denver Broncos, Malik Neighbors of the New York Giants, Brock Bowers of the Las Vegas Raiders, Bryant Thomas Jr. of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Bucky Irving of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Only 6 rookies getting nominated for the Rookie of the Year by the NFL.
Bucky had himself a damn fine year.
Yeah, they did. Do you notice anything odd about that?
No. What's springing up in that?
6 players, 3 colleges represented.
Interesting.
LSU with Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas. Oregon, Bo Nix, and Bucky Irving. Georgia's Brock Bowers entering that. And
pretty good group.
Yeah. And when you think of that, you think of Oregon is coming off a season where they went 13-0, won the Big Ten, their first year in the Big Ten, and then got housed in the quarterfinals of the college football playoff. 13-1 season and a conference championship. Think of this. They lost 2 nominees for Rookie of the Year. Evan Williams of the Green Bay Packers was the 2nd highest rated rookie in all of the NFL.
He was one of the highest rated safeties.
At safety. Yeah, he took a little bit of a dip as the season went on.
He got hurt
but he was the number 1 safety the first 6 weeks of the year.
Yeah, he stayed at the top for quite
NFL.
some or near the top for quite some time, and then he got dinged up. I want to say it was like week 14 or something like that.
Your guy, Jackson Powers Johnson of the Raiders, he was the 2nd highest rated rookie guard in the NFL. He played center in college.
Yeah.
He was the number 1 rated center in for rookies in the NFL.
Took him a little while to get on the field just because the Raiders offensive line was trying to sort through some stuff, but once he got there,
yeah, he was the number 2 interior offensive lineman. Played over 500 snaps at guard and 400 and something at center. So you look at that, and there's 4 impact rookies in the National Football League coming off a roster from last year, and they improved their record. And
not
it was
too shabby.
In the Big Ten, not the Pac-12 this past year.
The one that impacted the most from a negative standpoint was Georgia, losing McConkey and Bowers.
Yeah.
Like, you saw what it did to their offense, but it also shows you just how quickly Oregon reloaded.
And that's where I go, the roster building and the faith that Oregon fans probably should have. And I know that there's a lot of, the naysayers that'll say, well, a lot of his recruits aren't playing. They actually are a lot. They're actually playing quite a bit. And it was year 3.
He's also murdered the transfer portal.
Yeah, he's done a really good job
absolutely of crushed the transfer portal.
Picking and choosing. And if you look at the additions to the portal this year, they are down from what they were last year. They're still not done, though. They'll probably add a couple more guys, but it's not going to be the 16 that they brought in a year ago. You think of the hits that the other teams, though, took. You mentioned Georgia. Without Bowers and McConkey, how different their offense looked from one year to the next.
It was just a not good offense.
Well, look at LSU. LSU's got 3 guys on this list with Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, and Bryant Thomas Jr. all up for Rookie of the Year. They went 9-4. It's really hard when you have that level of talent. It's like you sit there and you go, well, Oregon did a really good job through the portal of getting guys like, Dylan Gabriel, getting a Tez Johnson to come back, guys like Jeffrey Bossa coming back for one more run at things, going and getting a Kobe Savage and Jabbar Muhammad out of the portal, that picking and choosing where your holes are going to be on your roster and kind of backfilling it. That, if you are an Oregon fan, you should be encouraged by that. They were the one team that continued to accelerate through this process, not take a step back, right? And it obviously is going to be a big hill to climb this next year, because one of the luxuries that they had was they brought back their offensive line from a year ago. With the exception of Jackson Powers Johnson, you slide Poncho over to center, right? And that was, they had to work through some things at the beginning of the year.
They went through back-to-back Remington Award winners in Forsyth and
they've done a really
Jackson.
good job at that center position historically.
Yeah. I mean,
for a really long time. They've been really damn good.
It started with Max.
Yeah, yeah. You can go back. Their interior offensive line has been.
But I mean, as far as like being like
outstanding.
award winners, like
Yeah.
that's
Max Unger.
Yeah, Max Unger's. That's you kind of look and having 3 Remington Award winners in 15 years, 18 years. That's pretty insane.
Not bad. Not bad.
Nobody else is going to match that.
I think like Alabama went on a run.
You're right.
Like,
they had.
they've had.
Was it?
They've had
not Barrett. What was it? Barrett Sallee? Was he a center or was he a guard?
I don't know.
Anyways.
Yeah. But I thought that was interesting to kind of look at when you're looking at the landscape of the college football world, and we kind of get lost in between, college and the NFL, to look at the end of the year. 6 nominees for Rookie of the Year. 3 of them are from LSU, a team that went 9-4 after replacing Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, Bryant Thomas Jr. Oregon has Bo Nix and Bucky Irving. Boom, they're off. And look, that's not to mention, we talk about Evan Williams and Jackson Powers Johnson. Their leading receiver is now with Bo in Denver too, and Troy Franklin from a year ago, right? What they lost from 2023 to 2024 was pretty damn significant too. And so something to keep an eye out on. And are you looking at the Remington Award winners there?
Alabama did have 3. It's not Barrett Sallee, it's Barrett Jones. I knew I had a Barrett in my head. It was driving me crazy. They had 3 in a 10-year period. Yeah. Barrett Jones, Ryan Kelly, and Landon Dickerson. I forgot about Dickerson.
It seems
pretty good.
It seems
Ohio State had back-to-back in there, and Pat Elflein and Billy Price. They were not obviously high-level NFL guys.
Yeah.
But most of these guys did end up becoming high-level NFL guys.
Oh, all right. Well, it wasn't JPJ though the first winner though.
Yeah,
they were finalists.
Forsyth
was finalist.
Yeah,
I think Haranis Grassu was a finalist as well.
Yeah,
I mean they've gone on a big run.
I thought Alex won for some reason. I had that in my head that he did. But yeah, I mean you
really
got guys like
good.
here AQ Shipley and Marquise Pouncey, and it's pretty good. Dominic Raiola.
Now his kid pretty good too.
Yeah.
Good too.
It's a pretty good indicator.
Yeah.
It's for the most part, it hits pretty solidly. But there's a couple in here you're kind of like, I forgot about that one.
All right.
How did you win?
How did you get here?
Mm-hmm.
You can get out of here. Hey, in college football, we talked about the coaching carousel yesterday. There is a little bit of a hubbub brewing right now. With one Bill Belichick in his status at North Carolina. We'll get to that next. Danny and Dusty on the Fan. is the head coach of the University of North Carolina.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
He's recruiting for him.
You sure about that?
They gave him a sweatshirt with the sleeves cut off at his press conference. Well, now reports are coming out that Bill Belichick has not signed his contract.
And you got to get into
Carolina.
You got to get into the weeds for this one because he has signed a term sheet, which is very normal. That's not unusual in sports. This is typically what is signed when you agree to a term sheet, and then it gets sent off to the lawyers. Everything gets ratified, and then when you see like the photo of like the actual contract being signed, that's when the contract is signed. He has agreed to coach the University of North Carolina. He has not signed.
Yeah,
he coached the University of North Carolina.
He did that on December 11th, and now here's where the reporting is wildly different. Some, including those with legal backgrounds like Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk, who is a lawyer, some say the term sheet is not binding to the $10 million buyout that everybody is referencing when it comes to Bill Belichick departing North Carolina for a job.
Prior to June 1st, 2025.
Others are saying it is binding in North Carolina's eyes, right?
It would require litigation. Who is the former GM for the Packers? He always says it. There will be lawyers.
Ted Thompson? Is that the one?
No. It's not Albert. Andrew Brandt.
Thank you, Andrew Brandt. There will be lawyers.
Yeah,
and that's if he does go to the NFL or looks to go to the NFL. There will be lawyers.
But this is also kind of contradictory because he has not interviewed for any NFL jobs.
But his name has
been throwing around because, I don't know. He's only the most successful coach in NFL history. When you think of the amount of rings that he has on his hands, both as a coordinator and a head coach. But he hasn't. A lot of teams have been turned off because of the $10 million buyout that has been reported and rumored. Now you're looking at the Dallas Cowboys have shown interest, and there's people that said that Bill would have been interested in that Cowboys job, which that seems. Jerry Jones and Bill Belichick, holy smokes. Do you think the allure for Bill would be if Jerry does the post-game press conference, I don't have to do one? And maybe he would be okay with that. But something tells me Bill Belichick would absolutely hate coaching for a team owned by Jerry Jones.
Oil and water.
I think it's more like, this is terrible. It's like old bum fights videos.
That is pretty terrible.
Like that's how this goes.
That is pretty terrible.
But does that paint a picture in your head?
Yeah, it does.
You know,
it sure gets there. But this is all to say, Bill Belichick's currently on the recruiting trail, and he's on the road, doing in-home visits, doing everything a college football head coach will do. And there are people that are close to Bill Belichick, which I would like to quote Aaron Rodgers in this one. What movie did he? Oh, Zoolander. Was it Zoolander that he quoted? Where he was asked, somebody close to you said, and he goes, somebody said they're close to me. Yeah. I will go with, I don't know what to believe with Bill Belichick because that man, nobody can read.
No.
Ever. So
he could be on to Cincinnati.
He could, well, not Cincinnati, but he could be on to Dallas. He could. What job would he take right now?
How bad is that relationship with the Jets?
Not redeemable on either side here. I think if there was one team,
it would be the funniest one.
If you want to power rank them from worst to first, I would have put the Patriots, going back to the Patriots over going to the Jets. But I don't think that would go well. Was
Woody Johnson the owner there at that point, or like
no,
what time?
Wasn't.
Okay, I didn't.
But
think
there's a lot of bad blood.
Yeah.
And
I get it.
Bill Belichick can hold a grudge almost as good as Danny.
Almost.
It's a lot.
Dude, Petty Olympic multi-time gold medal winner over here.
Yeah.
Tom Brady. Hey, good news though. It sounds like Ben Johnson is Close.
It might happen.
Who is the other guy? They said it's down to Ben Johnson and who else?
Oh God! Now you're making me.
It was down to like 2, and Ben Johnson was 1, and then
I just saw Ben Johnson and blacked out. So.
quite literally everybody had the response that I did yesterday when we were talking about it of why would he take a job with no quarterback, no receivers, a couple good O-linemen?
Because you've got the Bears job with Caleb Williams and Roma Dunze and who's the other guy there they got there?
Well, they said the Bears are down to Ben Johnson and Mike McCarthy.
Which those are not the same thing.
Mike Carthy.
The
Guy
Ben Johnson of it all is the latest rumor is that Shador would fall to number 6 to the Raiders.
Well, yeah.
And basically Dion would force it to happen.
Would force what to happen? Him be your head coach?
Well, no, Shador to the Raiders.
Yeah. Why not?
Taking Shador at 6 would not bother me as much as taking Shador at 1.
Yeah, there's the spirit. There's the spirit. That's the right idea.
That's where I'm at in that. In the which evil do you prefer? I would prefer Cam Ward.
Okay.
But if you're getting Shador at 6, the value scaling feels more appropriate.
See, now here's this is a good point brought up on the Vancouver Ford text line that I've heard also the last couple of days. Why would Ben Johnson go to the Raiders and deal with the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos?
That's another one too. Where guess what all of those teams have? A quarterback.
I mean, you could go to the Bears and deal with the Packers, Vikings, and Lions.
But you have a quarterback.
True.
I mean, that's a pretty big one too.
But I mean,
and it's a good quarterback
but
you got.
But if you're talking about divisions, like the only place where you're going where you're not dealing with anything is the AFC South.
I put the NFC South in there too.
Okay, the South.
The South.
Okay,
which is really good at college football.
It is.
Well, but even the NFC North, it's like, okay, Jordan Love, are we convinced about him yet?
Well, and if you go to
and how long is Jared Goff going to really be around?
If you go to the Bears, you're taking away their play caller from the Lions.
Mm-hmm. Certainly helps.
You know, that helps you a little bit, you know?
And in Minnesota, yeah, you got J.J. McCarthy coming in, but, you know, we saw Sam Darnold find his shadow the last couple of weeks, and he turned back into old Sam Darnold.
Well, may I remind you, Danny Dimes is on that roster in Minnesota too, huh?
You also
Okay,
had J.J. McCarthy, who every time they pan to him on the sideline, I think he's a fan.
Okay, would you rather have Ben Johnson as your head coach, but next year Daniel Jones is your quarterback?
God, no. Doesn't matter what it is. I am the Care Bear jumping into traffic at that point.
All right. But it'd be for 1 year.
I know.
No?
But can we see you in your Care Bear outfit actually jumping into traffic?
Yeah.
I don't think Tom Brady would bring Daniel Jones
I
in.
don't think so either.
But he might bring in Sam Darnold.
Look, if we're stopgapping, I'm okay with Sam.
Because he's a USC guy.
No, just because I saw what he did this year. Like, I'm not worried about the playoffs. I'm not worried about the pressure.
Yeah.
I'm worried about a quarterback who's functional, who can get Brock Bowers and maybe
I guess
one other
you're right.
receiver
As
the
a
ball.
Raiders fan, you should not be worried about the playoffs.
Well, I mean,
or
doesn't
any pressure.
No, but like when you're rebuilding, no, you're not.
Who? Yeah. In both those, you mentioned both those divisions are going to be really tough, no matter what.
You're gonna be up
Which
against
one
it
would
one
you
way or the other.
rather go through? I might want to go through the North though. Chiefs have won back-to-back Super Bowls.
Yeah,
Jim Harbaugh is the head coach on the other side,
for
where
sure.
you know that he's going to
He's
turn
gonna be a
some
dude.
things around.
The flip side, though, is that the Chiefs are up against it financially. You know they've got to start making.
Well, they have been for years.
Well, I know, but you know they have to start making some real sacrifices. And Kelsey's aging out very quickly.
Yeah.
Do they not keep just basically rotating in receivers and whatnot and position players around Patrick Mahomes?
I can tell you, tight ends are very important when you have that generational quarterback.
Yes, that right.
But you
there,
know who is the most important? The generational quarterback.
For sure.
he's the guy.
But I mean, here's the thing. Tom managed to drag Gronk down to Tampa Bay.
Yes, you're damn right.
It matters.
It does.
And with the Raiders right now, they have their Gronk.
Yeah. Well, he also
They
had.
just have no quarterback. No quarterback.
I'm sorry, man.
It's tough.
I think it's gonna get. It'll get better.
To be fair, the
be
Raiders
fair.
have only had a quarterback once in the franchise's existence of like true production standards. Like, don't get me wrong, Stabler, sure, but
We're talking Rich Gannon.
Rich Gannon is it. That is the only like above average production quarterback they've ever had.
Teams with less salary cap space than the Chiefs heading into next season.
Mm-hmm.
Houston, Dallas, Buffalo, Atlanta, Miami, Seattle, Cleveland, New Orleans.
Well, so you got some big playoff teams and some really big not
Dallas
playoff
and
teams.
New Orleans being there.
Lancas.
Yikes.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to hour number 2 here. We got playoff football coming up, and Lamar Jackson. I'm picking up what Lamar's putting down because he's just throwing it all out there. He doesn't care about the fans. He doesn't care about friendship. He just cares about ball. Danny and Dusty on the Fan.
Hey,
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Big's Chicken. Try their smoked and fried wings tossed with a perfect dry rub and served with a trio of killer sauces. Menus at bigschicken.com. First on the Fan, the Trailblazers continue their homestand tonight, hosting the Clippers. 7 o'clock tip on K2 2.2. That's on your antenna. And then also on 302 on Xfinity. Donovan Clingan out at least a week after spraining an ankle in Sunday's loss to the Nets. Robert Williams III, Jeremy Grant, Matisse Thybulle, they're all also out. Denny Avdia is a game-time decision. The Blazers are 7-point underdogs. A TNT doubleheader tonight in the association. First up at 4:30, another matchup of the top 2 teams in the league. Cavaliers at the Thunder. OKC 2-point favorites. That's followed by the Kings, 4-point favorites, hosting the Rockets. In the college game, Oregon State men's basketball, they are 10-1 at home, hosting number 16 Gonzaga at 8 o'clock tip on the CBS Sports Network. And Portland Pilots looking for their first conference win, hosting Pacific on the Bluff. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 6:30, tip at 7 o'clock. It can also be seen on ESPN+. And sad news from Major League Baseball. Legendary Brewers broadcaster and actor Bob Uecker passed away this morning. Uecker spent 6 seasons in the Bigs as a backup catcher before becoming the voice of the Brewers in 1971 and was likely best known as Harry Doyle from the Major League movies. Bob Uecker was 90. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Did you score a smart speaker over the holidays? Just ask it to play 1080 The Fan.
Portland, if you've ever wondered where to get your Blazers, Ducks, and Bees, it's right here on the airwaves of 1080. 1080 The Fan with Danny and Dusty. It's Danny and Dusty and Rust from noon till 3.
Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty with you on this Thursday afternoon. An hour from now, we will have our NFL picks. But right, Meow, I'm picking up what our man Lamar Jackson's putting down.
Oh?
I find myself liking him more and more. He is kind of a business guy, right? Where he kind of checks all those boxes for you, where he's not playing the friend game. He doesn't really care. He just wants to win football games. Mm-hmm. And it stylistically, we've seen him kind of answer every single bell. How much have we seen a guy kind of change the way he plays and improve the way that he has? As much as we have with Lamar Jackson.
The guy he's playing against this weekend.
Maybe.
That's it.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, but stylistically, Josh Allen didn't really change.
Just got better.
He just kind of undumbed himself. Mm-hmm. You know, the train wreck plays he eliminated. With Lamar Jackson, it was like he was truly a freelancer, a run-first quarterback. We've seen him completely change to where now it's like Derrick Henry's here. Perfect. Love it. We'll give the ball up. He's turned and improved as a passer dramatically, and Josh Allen really has too. I think you're right. Like those two guys, probably it. Yeah. Like the guys who've dramatically changed the way that they have played. Geno Smith too.
Yeah, if you're going further back, it's probably Donovan McNabb.
Ooh.
That's probably the last time. I mean, when you're talking about a running quarterback, there's only so many true dual threat guys who could RG3 would have been on that list, but his knee exploded, so he didn't have that opportunity.
Not wrong.
Because Cam never changed. Cam was a bat on Graham until the very end.
Yeah,
and that's why he's not playing.
Yeah.
You know, he physically broke down,
but he's doing something that's really hard to do, which is kind of change who you are. Randall Cunningham's a good one. Randall Cunningham's a very good one.
Warren.
But it is also a lot of... Well, Warren Moon was always that dude was a slinger in college. He was a slinger in the CFL. And in the NFL, he was too. Baker Mayfield...
Ooh, Baker's
his
a good
is a lot
one.
of undumbing himself.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a really good one.
Just being like...
Because Baker was freelance. Goodness gracious.
Remember, he came out of the gate and he popped. Baker did.
Mm-hmm.
And then what teams noticed was that he always spun out the exact same way. And so they baited him into it, right? Baker has changed a lot. He still runs like a madman on smelling salts because he is.
He is.
But he's another one, too, that changed his game quite dramatically. But one thing I love now is we don't know much about Lamar Jackson, like the person. He's really quiet, keeps to himself.
Yeah, he doesn't do any real branding things.
He said 2 things yesterday that stuck out to me, and I'm totally in on Lamar Jackson because he was asked about relationship with Josh Allen being 2 of the 2018 quarterbacks that are thriving.
I've probably seen Josh early on in our career, going to certain events like Super Bowl time and stuff like that. But all season, I I don't really chill with people off season, like, especially not other quarterbacks. Like, nothing like, don't get me wrong, there's no problem, nothing like that, but it's like, we compete against each other. Like, I'm trying to beat you. Like, I'm not trying to be your friend.
Yeah, do you think, though, that because you guys were from the same draft class, that you'll kind of always be linked together?
Yeah, no doubt. When we older, we'll probably laugh about it, but right now, it's serious. I ain't laughing with you. For real.
You just ends with like, for real. Like, I'm not going to laugh with you. You know what that reminds me of? The early years of Brady and Manning. Like the early years of Brady and Manning, it was like, no, F this guy. But as the rivalry grew, we come to find out that, no, they actually were like...
They were hanging out together.
I have to get together with this guy, and my knowledge base can grow, learning from the guy.
I love that they kept it a secret. I love that they've now talked about, we went to like high schools quietly, and we basically told high school kids, if anybody finds out we were here, we will murder you.
Yeah, and we know people.
It's like
the Mannings know.
It's basically like the SNL skit of Peyton playing with the kids, but like pulling out a pocket knife.
But that to me, and I love hearing that from Lamar Jackson, right? What do we talk about with the NBA all the time, right? The guys get along too much nicey, right?
But it's coming back.
But with Lamar and Josh Allen, this is what you want from your quarterback rivalries, right? He's like, I don't need to be his friend. Yeah, sure, we'll joke about it when we're older and we're done playing. But right now, I want his throat.
Yes.
And he carried it over. Lamar Jackson, we don't hear from him very often. Love this too about all that matters is winning.
To me, like us players, we just trying to win. We really don't care like about it. We trying to go in there and just win. You know, that's a tough environment, tough team, offense, defense, special team. We just trying to go there and win.
F those fans. He doesn't care about fans. All he wants to do is win. I love Lamar Jackson. I hope that Derrick Henry has more in the tank, and we get a couple years of this Ravens team being at the top of their game, because we could see some battles, and it could be a three-way battle in that four-way in that AFC for quite some time if you have Kansas City still doing what they do, the Buffalo Bills, the Baltimore Ravens, and look,
that three-headed monster just sitting at the top of the AFC.
They had a horrible year. Cincinnati Bengals are going to be good again.
They were 8-9 because their defense was egregious, not because their quarterback wasn't. I mean, to be clear, he was the best quarterback this year
in the National Football League.
Like, I don't think that you can argue that.
Yep.
Production, efficiency, yards, touchdowns. Joe Burrow had one of the best, probably like 10 years of singular production for a quarterback in the history of the game.
Yeah,
It ain't on him, guys.
No, it isn't.
So, yes, again, it's also the AFC monster that just keeps on ticking.
You know what I'm even more excited for? Have you seen the weather for Buffalo on Sunday night?
It's brutally cold.
14 degrees.
Snow.
The real feel will be -6 with 0.1 inches of snow expected.
Well, just a little bit, just a little drizzling.
Little dusting.
Okay. I was listening to my favorite morning show on my way in, and they were talking to it's the most like New York sounding guy ever. He's the Buffalo sideline reporter. I want to say it's Sal Capaccio.
Oh,
and the forecast is basically 10 or 11 degrees, probably single digits, with a wind chill under 0.
Well, I just got that from AccuWeather of 14 degrees with -6 real feel. Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah.
Basically what you just said right there.
Tell you right
and
now,
also
that hurts
Sal
the skin.
Capaccio.
Sal Capaccio.
Sal Capaccio definitely sounds like something you order at the Italian
Oh, and
restaurant.
apparently I also learned this morning that Sal Capaccio has a brother that lives in McMinnville.
Oh, sweet.
I hope he has a sandwich
And
spot.
so sometimes when they hit the spring and they try to get out of the nasty Buffalo weather, they go down to Florida, or he said sometimes they'll come out here to Oregon to visit his brother.
That's what most people do. Florida or McMinnville.
No, well, I mean,
It's a natural
McMinnville in
transition.
particular, like all those hotels right there in the wine country, pretty much everyone that comes into those things, I swear, is from the Northeast. All of them. You just see like New York plates and New England plates. They make
They're driving.
Oh, they make their long drive out here, and they do like
That's a long drive.
They will. They'll stay there, and then they'll go down to California.
Like, I thought it was a long drive when we drove to Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't you know?
Don't
crazy.
you know? Oh, I'm just going to squeeze right past you here.
Also,
Get for that side of ranch.
not 2 blocks away.
Nah, no.
No, from you, McMinnville is only
15,
about,
20 minutes.
I was going to say about maybe 6 blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
15, 20 minutes.
All right. Dunk of the year last night?
Probably.
Dunk of the year. We had a conversation yesterday about all defensive player of the year. John Morant said, nah, next on the fan. Yesterday we had a conversation about Victor Wembanyama and how dominant of a defensive player he is. And boy, howdy is he.
Did you see his box score from last night by any chance?
I did.
So he didn't shoot well, but he finished the game with 8 blocks.
Yeah.
He now has the second most 8-block games in the history of the NBA, and he's done it in 104 games, I think.
Yeah, he went 13, 12, and 8. Also, 2 assists, 2 steals.
Mm-hmm.
That Wemby guy's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's all right. But last night, Ja Morant, who stands... how tall is Ja? 6'2"-ish? 6'1"?
I believe he's listed at 6'2".
We'll put him 6'2" in shoes.
We'll give him 6'2" in shoes. Let's just say when he walks by me, I don't look up.
Okay. 6'2" in shoes. And Victor Wembanyama, every bit of 7'5".
He's 7'5". He's listed, I think, as like 7'3", but like his actual measurements, he's 7'5".
And he's got go gadget arms.
Yes, he's got
to go along with him.
9 foot. I think it's a 9'8" standing reach.
And Ja Morant last night said, "You know what? I don't care." And he went up for one of the best and most electric dunk attempts that you could ever imagine.
Okay, so let's do the this is where you miss Brinkus on old Sports Science on ESPN. Victor Wembanyama, 7'5". Ja Morant, 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about a 14 to 15-inch difference in height alone.
That seems significant, Danny.
Victor Wembanyama's standing reach is 9'7". He is 5 inches from the rim standing. He has an 8-foot wingspan. Okay? The audacity for Ja Morant to even attempt this.
Yeah.
And it's not like he does it like in a phone booth. He gets a run up and he takes off outside the dotted line.
Now, here is qualifiers here. Whistle blew.
As he's taking off.
Dunk did not count. And it was, the finish, he actually grabbed the rim, though, which I will say that a dunk is when you have to grab the rim.
It was like Blake Griffin on Mozgov.
But I think he got more rim than Griffin did.
But either way,
the thing about it, the whistle, though, Wemby still contested it it was a live play.
I mean, because they were both going at it.
Yeah,
like,
they were both in motion. It was like when you have that slow-mo of the Rams running at each other on planet Earth, and they were like, yep, it's go time. And they both went up, and Ja Morant split the wickets, and I don't know how he did it. It was impressive. And the photos that have come out of that are even more wild. Like, he just said, don't care.
Yeah.
You may be the best shot blocker in the NBA. Maybe when your career is done, you may be the most prolific shot blocker in NBA history.
Mm-hmm.
Don't care. I'm going to still go at you. And oh my goodness.
And this is weeks removed from Ja Morant saying he was going to stop dunking.
I just wish Ja Morant was not a bad person.
I mean, I get it.
I mean, it's true.
Look, I said this maybe, I want to say it was a week, maybe 2 weeks ago. Dunks are cooler than threes.
Yeah, dude.
Because, look, I flipped over to watch the end of Sixers-Knicks, and I'm like, all right, Knicks are going to put this away. I'm going to flip this back over because I was watching Grizzlies-Spurs mostly. I'm like, all right, let's flip this back over. And about 2 minutes before this happened, and it's still a pretty decent game. And as this happens, I see the run-up. I stood up, hand on head, like, he's not going to do it, is he? It's not like he just, kind of dunks. He cocks this thing back as far back as he can.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because you look, if you look at the still shot from the side, you see how high Ja's feet and knees are off the ground, and yet his head is even with Wemby's, basically.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, you had to clear all that space just to get up there.
Mm-hmm.
And again, he takes off from outside the dotted line.
That's how you're going to have to approach every take against Victor Wembanyama.
You have to go in, it has to be an insane level take.
You have to yell YOLO as you are on the drive.
Have the run up and have the bumps.
Like you're like "Rah," and you got to cock back because that's the only way that you're going to get through.
You got to get the force to get through his hands that are up there. It's like,
yeah.
Remember Shaden's on Walker Kessler last year?
Yeah.
The absolute, like he cocked that thing all the way back. And like when guys, Walker's 7'2". Walker's a big dude. Like Donovan Clingan is 7'3". Like when guys are that big, that strong, that long, you have to. You can't go weak.
That was fun.
It's a bummer that it did not count. But
I should count it. Like you should just be like, well, the official should have apologized.
Like my bad. That's too dope to not count.
Yeah, he's like, I know I blew the whistle. That's on me.
Inadvertent whistle.
Yeah, you guys were still playing. I'm gonna give you 8 points for that.
Telling you, man, dunks are cooler than threes, and I love that. Like, it feels like dunks are coming back. It feels like there's like a retroization of basketball, and it's like, yeah,
Well, I think a little bit of that has to do though with the bigs being able to shoot and less big bodies in the middle of the floor.
And also, there again, it maybe sounds counterintuitive, but the physicality coming back to the NBA, like allowing hand checking in the perimeter, it doesn't stop drivers. It stops guys from going into off the dribble threes.
And it pushes guys off of the 3-point line and gives them an avenue when that space isn't there to respect the shot, you know? You all of a sudden they're tighter. You get a step on a guy, and boom!
Now you get dunks.
The hand check would dramatically improve the NBA.
Yes,
in the excitement level.
Yes,
bring it back. Bring it back.
So could one say that Ja cocked back like when he tried to pull a gun on somebody?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
I mean.
P1 Cole, along those lines there, Rust, says, how are you not surprised by Ja's poor decision-making? Spectacular, nonetheless.
Yeah, he's got a point.
He was like, you know what? That guy said, don't care. Boom. That was nuts. I feel obligated to say, still not a good guy. But a fun play, and I enjoyed that. And you know what else I enjoyed, Danny? I enjoyed your tweet. Did the neighbors call the police on you? Because I can only imagine the noise that you made. When you said, this was Danny's tweet last night. Wait, I need to find it because it was, God, you tweet a lot.
When I sit down to watch games, man, I've got like 3 monitors up.
Golly, where'd it go?
Well, that's one of your sit downs.
I'm not proud of the sound that came out of me on that Ja dunk on Wemby, but I'm pretty sure if I show my neighbors the clip, they'll understand why it sounded like that. When I know that sound that you made, it was a cackle, squeal, loud yell.
Yeah, It was like all of the things in one.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Much like passing a kidney stone.
Yeah.
but with more joy.
Yeah. Yeah, just like that. That's kind of it. Yeah, except for a happy one, you know? Like a happy, whoo, look at that. Oh, man. That was a fun play,
I mean,
though.
I absolutely squealed.
Give me more. I want more. I want more guys just... Because you know what? On the other side of that, if more guys try Wemby, the blocks will be spectacular, too.
Because that's the thing is somebody's going to try this again, and he's just going to grab that thing out of the air.
Yeah. And those, like... Posters need to come back. Kids need posters on their walls.
Remember Giannis on Tatum.
The best,
the long finger block.
The best posters though were the ones where they were game posters. Actually, they weren't the best. We all know the Nike ad ones were the best.
Yes,
those were the best. But when you had the game photos and there were 2 recognizable players on the poster, because it could have been like a Michael Jordan poster, but you also had, Clyde Drexler in it too, right? Like, give me more. Like, I want my Ja Morant poster to have Victor Wembanyama contesting that.
Yes. Like, again, do yourself a favor. Just Google the Ja Wemby dunk and just look at the photos. Yeah. Because the photos that came out were incredible. Like, these should be on posters in kids' rooms. Like, this exact one should be on a poster in your kid's room. Like,
Ja Wemby sounds like a Creole band.
We'll go down here, Ja Wemby.
Sounds like something Gambit said.
Or Ed Ogeron.
Oh yeah.
Or it'll go down.
Joe Burrow going to throw that over to Ja Wemby.
I would say Joe Wemby sounds like a
Wemby.
tight end for LSU for sure.
Ja Wemby.
I like it.
Make it eat that gator.
All right, coming up next, we're gonna change it up a little bit for our worst day on the web. It's our worst day on the web because it's an absolute bummer. A
It's a bad
legend
day.
has passed. First, here's the Big Kuno Sports on Update.
Ja
I hear
Wemby.
they got some tasty burgers.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Vulcan Design and Construction. Check out their award-winning outdoor living designs or schedule your free design consultation at vulcandc.com. First on the Fan, the Trailblazers continue their homestand tonight, hosting the Clippers. 7 o'clock tip on K2 2.2. That's on your antenna. Channel 302 on Xfinity. Donovan Clingan out at least a week after spraining an ankle in Sunday's loss to the Nets. Robert Williams III, Jeremy Grant, Matisse Thybulle, they are all also out. Denny Avdia, a game-time decision. The Blazers are 7-point dogs. A TNT doubleheader tonight in the association. First up, 4:30, another matchup of the top two teams in the league. Cavaliers at the Thunder. OKC are 2-point favorites. That's followed by the Kings. They are 4-point favorites, hosting the Rockets. Over in college ball, Oregon State men's hoops, they are 10-1 at home, hosting number 16 Gonzaga. 8 o'clock tip on CBS Sports Network. Portland Pilots looking for their first conference win, hosting Pacific on the Bluff. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 6:30. Tip at 7 o'clock. It can also be seen on ESPN+. We got round one of the American Express underway in La Quinta, California. And on top of the leaderboard is Justin Lauer. He is 9 under par through 16, 1 stroke clear of Matt Schmidt, Joel Damon, Mark Hubbard, and Chris Kirk. Also on the leaderboard, we got Will Zalatoris, Jason Day at 6 under par. They are 3 strokes off the pace. Justin Thomas, 4 under. Tony Finau and Patrick Cantlay are 3 under par. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan. for today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
That sucks.
That's an unfortunate day for sports fans. A legend gunned down in his prime, as it were.
Yeah, 90 years old.
90 years old.
90.
But one that I think whether you're 15 years old, whether you're 75, 80 years old, you know Bob Uecker for so many things. Whether it's on Mr. Belvedere.
George Owens.
Whether it's...
Back when a sports writer could have a butler.
There you go. Whether it's sitting in the play-by-play box for the Milwaukee Brewers or the Cleveland Indians.
Or Cleveland Indians or Miller Lite ads.
Indeed.
Bob Uecker is such
so much
interesting guy.
And getting mixed up for Bob Barker with Bob Barker for 25 years.
Yeah, that is true.
It happened all the time.
That is true. Bob Uecker he's truly, 90 years old. We've had this conversation about Dick LeBeau, right? It was like, it's surprising. Didn't serve in the military, right? Missed Korea because he was too young. Missed Vietnam because he was too old. Bob Uecker, the year after the Korean War ended, enlisted. And he was...
Because he was born in 1935, so he misses World War I.
He was...
Or World War II,
yeah. So he ended up in the military, and then out of the military signs with the Milwaukee Braves. Or the Milwaukee Brewers, the minor league team, and then ends up with his hometown team. He's from Milwaukee with the Milwaukee Braves. He ends up having a 14-year career in baseball. Not all of them in the bigs, but plays for 4 different teams, gets a World Series with the Cardinals in 1964, and was a solid, role-playing catcher, right?
Just a solid baseball player.
He then goes directly into the broadcast booth in 1971.
71.
He went from 71 till this past year calling games for the Brewers, man.
That was the Brewers' second year after moving from Seattle. And
Bob Uecker, the fact that he went from that in being in Milwaukee to then become an actor and coinciding with baseball season, which don't know if people know this, not a short season.
No.
And to tape Mr. Belvedere and to do movies like Major League, it was incredible, but his personality is really what kind of shined through all of it.
And that was the thing is he was himself in those things.
Yeah. Yeah. After Vin Scully died, Bob Uecker was number 2 for active guys.
Games called.
No. Active guys calling games continuously for the same team. Because the other guy's a Royals guy. Oh God, what's his name?
I forget his name.
Jerry,
they brought it up on Dirt and Spring.
Yeah.
It wasn't. What's his name with the Yankees?
No.
Oh.
No, not Sterling.
Huh.
No. 54 years. Do you know when he actually signed a contract though? To be the voice of the Milwaukee Brewers?
I would say it's probably in the 80s.
1971 is when he started.
Yeah, I would say 86.
He did not sign a contract until 2021.
Holy.
Yeah.
So
that's when his SAG benefits
50 years.
His SAG benefits expired and they changed the way that you could get your health insurance. So he was on a handshake agreement from 1971 to 2021 calling games for the Brewers and be like, "Yeah, I'll call this many games for you every year." And he was one of the biggest voices in play-by-play in any sport.
But if you do him wrong,
yeah. But the
wrath that would come down upon you.
He also was throwing the Brewers a solid by saying we don't even need to pay your insurance or anything. You're not really an employee of ours. We just want you on our game. So he got paid to do those, obviously, but no benefits until 2021. He did not sign a contract.
Well, and many people forget this was the walkout music for the first pitcher that he ever introduced.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not. But
one of the greatest side roles in cinematic history.
One of the most identifiable.
Harry Doyle.
Yeah.
Harry Doyle.
Harry Doyle
We're in the top of the ninth, leading 10-7. Bases loaded, 2 down, and Rick Vaughn has come on to try and nail it down against Felipe Aguilar, a dangerous right-handed batter. Here's the pitch.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Quotable. I mean, that movie came out in, what, 89?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
88, 89, something like that.
Everybody still quotes that movie.
I mean, just a bit outside.
Just a bit outside.
One of my favorite lines in that is when he takes the pull of Jack Daniels and he goes, nobody's bleeping listening anyways. Covers the mics. You can't say that.
He was, but that his personality is exactly why
that's him being
he
him.
Worked. Yeah. And he was so self-deprecating throughout his entire career. Like he was a catcher in Major League Baseball for several years.
A World Series winning catcher.
He was mostly like a backup, but he was a guy that like he would always downplay, not make it about him, but also make it totally about him. You know, like the trick to catching a knuckleball pitcher is just wait for it to stop rolling because he had like more pass balls than anybody because he was Phil Necro's catcher.
Oh,
and so he was a knuckleball catcher, and he was just like, dude, I don't even know what's going to happen here, but
nobody knows where this is going. We're both guessing.
Well, I remember on the way in this morning too, listening to again my favorite morning show, Dirt and Sprague. They shared an anecdote about how he was on a late night show, whatever interview, talking about how he was named one year the minor league baseball player of the year. And he said it would have been great, except I was in the big leagues for 2 years by that point.
He was on Johnny Carson. He was a regular on Carson's show. And the first year he went on was 71 when he started calling games for the Brewers or the Milwaukee Braves. I think at the time. No, they were the Brewers then.
71 was, yes, the Brewers. It was their second year after moving from Seattle.
But he went on Carson, and as the story goes, like Carson shook everybody's hand at the end. He overheard him say to Ed McMahon, did this guy really play Major League Baseball? Like he had no idea who Bob Uecker actually was. He ended up going on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson 62 times.
Which is insane.
And the first time he came on, it was like Johnny didn't understand his dry personality. And he ended it with this story, which I think this is 1971. This still rings true.
I played Little League Baseball, and I think really too much emphasis is put on winning and losing with Little League players, really. I know I tell my boy, he comes home and talks about not playing or another boy is better than he is. And I tell him you've got to work harder, you've got to play more, you've got to try and do your job better. And then, of course, if he's still better than you are, well, then it's up to you to get him on the side and just hit him with a bat or something.
71, before Nancy Kerrigan, before Tanya
Harding.
Maybe that's where the idea spawned, and then 20 years later, here comes Jeff Gillooly.
Bob Uecker, Sean Eklund.
Maybe.
You know, somebody chimed in on Vancouver Ford text line of one of the very subtle but great lines of Major League was the dynamite drop in, Monty.
That broadcasting school is really paying off.
The first I remember like rewatching that as an adult, and that line hitting so much harder just because you're like, no, that's a really like. That had to be improv. Like that just had to be like they were just letting the B-roll go and just like, hey, you know what, do a couple more takes and see what happens.
Yeah. He was also like, think about Bob Uecker. He's 90 years old. Mm-hmm. In the 60s, he played with Bob Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
And there was on that very first, I went down like the deep, dark rabbit hole of Bob Uecker today, reading just everything about him. So on that very first episode of Carson, he brought a bunch of pictures of like, you know, guys celebrating, and Johnny's like, is this when you, like, they're pouring beer all over him? Mm-hmm. They're like, is this when you won the World Series? And he goes, no, that's actually when the guys found out that I wasn't going to be playing in the lineup that day. So, you know, like he's there, and then it showed one of him pounding a beer, and they're like, "So is this you celebrating the World Series?" He's like, "No, that's me just getting ready for the game.
Yep.
That's how I had prepared."
Yep.
But he also had one of him with the tuba, and he goes, "Yeah, actually, this got me a $200 fine because they had a bunch of bands out on the field to play the national anthem, and it was batting practice." And he goes, "I was catching fly balls in my tuba." He picked up one of the tubas and actually was catching BP in the tuba, got fined $275. But he also had a picture of him in the team photo of the St. Louis Cardinals in 1964. And he goes, "Yeah, this one also got Bob Gibson and I fined." Mind you, this is the 60s. He and Bob Gibson were holding hands in the St. Louis Cardinals team photo, and they did it as a gag, and that's the one they ended up using. They took like 10 pictures, but that's the one they ended up
They didn't
using.
have digital photos back then.
No. And so, but think about that. It wasn't just two guys holding hands in a picture back then. It was a black guy and a white guy holding hands in a picture, and he just didn't, that race didn't matter
cross
to
his
him.
mind, no.
None of that mattered to Bob Uecker at all. And that's like just kind of the person that he was and the personality that he was. He was totally out there, but he was an awesome guy all the way around.
R.I.P. to an absolute legend.
Yeah.
One of the best to ever do it, Bob Uecker. He will be missed. All right, coming up next, Michigan fans are in hell, and we have to discuss this. Danny and Dusty today, the Fan. Well, it happened. Michigan fans are in absolute hell, choosing between Notre Dame and Ohio State.
Yeah, this is brutal. If you talk about two teams Michigan hates, it's Notre Dame and Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
And so what do you do? Austin Meek, formerly of the Eugene Register Guard, now covers the Wolverines for The Athletic.
Yes.
He reached out and he's like, who are you rooting for? And it's like begrudgingly, Notre Dame is the lesser of two evils.
I think it's pretty clearly that Notre Dame would be the lesser of two evils when talking about Notre Dame or Ohio State. I mean, you had the police brawl and bear spray people on the field 6 weeks ago.
Well, I mean, if they just played Notre Dame a little bit more, maybe they would have that too.
Yeah, if Notre Dame wasn't cowards?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Join a conference. Join the Big Ten. Notre Dame in the Big Ten would be great. It would be, they have rivalry with Penn State, rivalry with Michigan, rivalry with Ohio State. Let's just make it happen.
I do love this line as a 28-year-old fan, Wolverine fan from Warren, Michigan. He's in this article, he's quoted as saying, I'm actively rooting for Notre Dame. I will be getting excited when they score. If they score. Hopefully they score.
Yeah, that's how kind of a lot of us are feeling.
Yeah.
I'm just putting myself in this spot. Like, who are the two teams where you are picking the lesser of two evils if they play?
That's these two.
No, like, of all time, these are the two teams you hate the most, Rust? And in any sport where it's like, I was trying to just think of like, all right, in the NBA, who would that be? Like, if the Sonics were still around, it'd be like, I'd pick the Sonics over the Lakers, and I'd be like, I don't feel good about it. I don't like it, but I don't like the Lakers that much more. In the NBA, it's kind of more difficult now because there's not really a team. Maybe like the Lakers Heat. That was a tough series to watch.
Like you're talking like Western Conference Finals for me, it'd be like Lakers Rockets.
Yeah, ooh, that's a good one. It'd be tough, but you'd pull for the Rockets.
I would pull for the Rockets.
I would.
Like, that's an easy one for me. I would pull for the Rockets.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Now, here's... Okay, listen, I'm going to do...
College football would be like... Man.
It'd be like Notre Dame UCLA for me.
I'm going to derail this a little bit here because I heard this on my way in, and I don't think that I didn't put it on our show doc or anything. Because we got Notre Dame and Ohio State, and I was going to, as much as it pained me, I was going to be rooting for Notre Dame. Lou Holtz is making it incredibly difficult.
And Coach Day does not get the credit he should deserve for the tremendous accomplishments he's had. However, they have the highest paid NIL. They have a great team. They're very talented on offense and defense. The list goes on and on. But I believe the University of Notre Dame will prevail in this football game. Not because we have the best football team, but I think we have the best culture. Culture will beat talent each and every time. I think that Ohio State has great quarterback, great receivers. But if we have them sitting on the bench, they can't do much damage to us. How do we have that happen? We got to be able to run the football. The old cheer, 1st and 10, do it again, has great meaning in this football game. Notre Dame just has to be very, very patient, play their own game, and don't try to impress anybody. Let's just get a 1st and 10. Next thing you know, you'll be in the 4th quarter. It'll be a very close game. Ohio State's not used to being in a real close football game. Notre Dame is, and I think if Notre Dame would just stay with their belief, they will find a way to win.
At this point, I'm just rooting for the asteroid.
Wait, is he's saying Ohio State doesn't know how to play in close football games?
Yes, that's what he said. That's what he said.
Did he watch the semifinals against
Apparently
Texas?
Not, or much of this season at all.
Or Oregon?
Did he watch
Ohio
Oregon
State?
Or I don't know, Michigan? Nebraska was a one-score game.
I got so close to rooting for Notre Dame.
Penn State,
and now
where they
have
had
to root for the asteroid.
Penn State, where they had a goal line stand on the road to win that game. Well, I'm more out on Lou Holtz in this because of If Notre Dame doesn't win, it's because we want to preserve Ryan Day's job. I was originally going to be at the game in spirit, but now I'll be dragging my body along as well.
Thinking a weekend at Bernie's him there?
Probably.
A Michigan fan that was asked or responded to Austin Mead's tweet from last week, what are you pulling for as a Michigan fan? And one response is 20 overtimes followed by a large power failure.
Oh, okay. That's one way to look at it. I think my college football equivalent of like this game, oh man, that's really hard. I don't have a lot of hate in my heart in the world of college football.
'Cause you're a coward.
No, it's just because there's oftentimes I just like certain people. Like I used to hate Texas. I like Sark.
You know what's weird?
I like Sark
Despite
a lot.
losing that game, I've never not liked Texas.
Ooh, I know who it might be now. Because I just don't like Brian Kelly.
Ooh, LSU.
It would probably be like,
or just a Brian Kelly coach team.
Well, yeah, it's because of Brian. Like, there's certain people I don't like. Like, I used to not like Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman, really likable guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is a likable head coach and a good head coach and figure for young people.
Yeah,
I like Marcus
So is
Freeman.
he just telling Lou Holtz to shut the hell up?
Probably. He tells all of his players to shut up and stop heaping praise on anybody. And of all people, Lou Holtz to be the one running his mouth now. Crazy. But if you had like, for me, it'd probably be like LSU Washington, right? I'd be like, ooh, that's tough. Who am I going to take here? LSU?
For me, it's definitely Notre Dame.
Washington?
As much as UCLA's there just because the regional, I don't even know if it would be UCLA.
No, it shouldn't be.
Because they just haven't been good for most of my life.
Yeah.
Most of my life.
Yeah.
But they're a regional rival, so you grow up not liking them. It's Notre Dame for sure.
You'd probably be Notre Dame, Oregon.
It might be Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it might be. It might be.
I mean,
I'm trying to think.
You're
again,
still hanging on to national titles from like 20 years ago and throwing that their way.
I mean, you can pick any century or any decade, and they still stack up more than the none that Oregon has.
Not really.
Yeah, they do.
Not the last,
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
They're physically there.
2 decades.
Yeah, and yet still one more than them.
2 decades.
One more than them still. One more. One more. Coming up next.
You can root for all your players in the portal.
It's true. Coming up next, hour number 3. Even though there's no Thursday game, we're going to make our picks.
Let's do it.
We've got all of our playoff picks for the NFL weekend coming up here on Danny Dusty, 1080 The Fan. There's a nice little note. There's a different note. As the declarations of underclassmen for the NFL draft are out. Now, there is still one subtle change that can come to this group. Players for Ohio State and Notre Dame have until January 26th or 28th, I can't remember, to declare, because they have the additional time and preparation and all of the things that go along with that. But at this point in time, the underclassmen that have declared for the NFL draft this year has been nearly cut in half from last year.
I don't think 60 guys are going to be declaring
Doubtful.
From Notre Dame or Ohio State, because that's the number that they need to get to pre-NIL numbers. Like, we're looking at, it was like 130 underclassmen that were declaring for the draft, and now we're at, 70?
Yeah.
70 names are in right now as underclassmen going to the draft. And that is a massive fall off.
And the difference is, look at the names. I'm not going to read them all off, but when you go through the names, Jaden Blue, Will Campbell, Josh Connerly, Trevor Etienne, Quinn Ewers. Yeah, it's guys that you expect to be there. Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham from Michigan. It's not, well, this guy's got talent, but maybe he should go.
I think what we are seeing is that NIL is working for the people that NIL was supposed to work for, which is the players, right?
Yes, 100%.
Getting money for their name, image, and likeness. It was a way to keep them in school where they can still continue to earn money but develop. But, I mean, the question with college sports right now, and this isn't just college football, is that the benefits of the players and what they are getting outweigh the movement and reaction from fans and some coaches around the world of college sports, because they don't like it, because all of a sudden it becomes a bidding war. Very similar to every single one of these coaches who are attractive to other employers, a bidding war happens, and the coaches will leave just as quickly as the players will.
Did you see the rumored price tag for Quinn Ewers to come back?
I saw how much he turned down. It's a lot of money.
$8 million is a lot of money.
Yep.
It is significantly more than he will make in the NFL in his first probably 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know you want to get the clock started and all that.
Which means he's probably getting bad advice from somebody.
Yes. Because Texas was going to let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to let him come back.
And if they weren't going to pay him, Alabama or Georgia was going to line up and pay him just as much, if not more.
Are you surprised he's gone? Because I am. $8 million is a lot of money.
No.
And it's not like the quarterback class next year is drastically better.
But this one is really bad. And there is the opportunity for guys to grow in next year's class that could pop and surpass him. This is just a really bad quarterback class. And I do agree, though, that he is getting some bad information, because I still don't think that he's going to be getting a first-round pick. Like, he doesn't have a first-round grade by people.
I don't think he's a day one or day two guy.
I think he'll be day two, because that's your second and third round.
Oh, that's right. I always forget they have two of the guys.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
for me, he's a third round guy.
In that, well, I mean, if you're looking at where projections for Dylan Gabriel are, Dylan Gabriel is end of day two guy.
Yeah.
So end of third round.
And that's the height.
I don't think that Quinn Ewers will last that long. He'll be a second round pick by somebody. And it will be either a team that will trade down in the second round and get a little bit better of a value slotting for him, or it'll be a team that needs to accumulate a lot of talent. I mean, I'm basically talking to you right now.
Wow.
Well, but think about it. Would you be upset if the Raiders did this?
No,
if the Raiders
we talked about this off air.
If they used a first round pick on the best available player,
yes.
In the second round, they're sitting there going, "Hey, we can get another second. We can get 2 2s or a 2 and an additional 3,
yeah.
And we can still get a quarterback and just slide back a little bit." Like, that's a smart thing for a team like the Raiders to do, or the Titans to do.
You're 100% right in the sense of if they got, let's say the first round, let's say it's Mason Graham or a quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Getting the best interior defensive lineman, it's like, and he looks like he could be a Brock Bowers-esque guy, like where he's a legitimate all-pro candidate as a rookie.
At 6, like that's where they're at. They're at 6, right?
6.
You will get the best player in a position group.
Yes.
And like that, outside of tight end, you should be taking the best player at any other position group on your roster.
If Tedero McMillan falls, if Will Johnson, the corner from Michigan, falls.
Well, if it's the best edge rusher, you take him and you pair him alongside Max Crosby, and you say, all right, we bookended it at least, and we got young and we got a vet. We're gonna be okay.
If you think
there.
Will Campbell, the tackle from LSU, is the best tackle in the game, in the
Go
draft,
get
go
him.
get him. And then in the second round, you're deciding between, the third or fourth best, total offensive lineman in the draft, or the fourth best wide receiver, or the fourth or third best quarterback, and it's like Jackson Dart. Then you have to kind of weigh the idea of do we want? What's the difference between Jackson Dart and Quinn Ewers? I think it's pretty sizable. Like if you're asking me which one I would rather have,
I don't think it's that big, but.
Again,
it's personal preference.
Sure.
At that point,
in the
right?
eye of the beholder, right?
Yeah.
Like, is it better for you to get another second round pick or third round pick and take Quinn Ewers, or is it better for you to take Jackson Dart? Like, that's the kind of question I think that the Raiders specifically should be asking themselves. But yes, I think that's where you're at with this stuff, and the idea that these guys are, they are legitimate. This isn't you're going to get screwed over in college. You're not going to get the bag. No, they are handing out the bag to guys to stay when it's necessary. Which is actually, in Texas's case, it's not necessary. They've got Arch sitting there.
Yeah, NIL is working.
Yes,
it is working. Now, for programs that are not Power 4, yeah, you have every gripe in the world to be like, no, it's not working for us very well. But even if you are not a Power 4 team, look at Oregon State with Malik Murphy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You went out and you got a quarterback in Malik Murphy.
Got your dude.
Where, you have you were able to go out and get a quarterback because NIL, was it 1.5? Wasn't that what the report was out there?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I
heard that. Yeah, no, that does sound right.
But you're able to go and grab that guy. For other programs like a Boise State, you're able to continue to fend off a lot of the teams that would go out and try to get your guys out of the portal because, look, you got a rabid fan base that is willing to commit. Like, you can find a way to do it, but your school has got to be committed to the NIL landscape. And for those schools that are committed to it, hell yeah, it's working. And most importantly, this is what we all lose sight of, is that NIL wasn't for your team or your fan base. It was for the players to finally get the share
what
that they deserve from a multi-billion-dollar entity that is college football, college basketball. And they're able to now get that money, and it's helping them develop and not go to the NFL too early where you get weeded out too quickly, or the NBA where, look, college basketball is getting better. The product is better.
It's a surprise that those products are both getting better
because guys are sticking around and they're actually developing a little more. And Ross Dellinger has an article up at Yahoo Sports right now saying that it's an idea and they're thinking it through, and it's gaining a lot of traction, which is the 5 for 5, which is now college athletes won't have 4 years to play anymore. You're going to get rid of red shirts. You're probably going to get rid of waivers in many of the scenarios that they're outlining here. But what would happen is you have 5 years to play in college sports. That is coming down the pipeline. It's something that's gaining real traction in the NCAA, and that's going to be even better for the world of college football, because in this world where guys are bouncing around, they're jumping left and right, you can get guys to stick around a little bit longer, because that playing time, you can actually play more than 4 games your freshman year, and you're still going to have a developmental year alongside it. Like, there's a lot of schools that were in that. I think a lot of the really good programs, they did a great job of sprinkling in when you play a certain player who you're going to redshirt. Yeah, Dante Moore was a prime example of that. Like, they had to hold on to him. They would have sure as hell loved to have him in a lot of those blowout games, though, at the end of the year, where they're like, yeah, but we got to kind of save him, because what if something happens to Dylan Gabriel? We've got to hold on to him, and we're going to play Novosad instead. Well, more live snaps would have been better. It would have been way better for Dante Moore and the program. So 5 and 5 is coming down the pipeline too. It's going to be even better for him.
Well, NIL doesn't just impact the players; it also impacts the coaches. We have a bit of an update on the Dion Sanders Cowboys saga. But first, here's the Big Kahuna Sports Center update.
You ever had a Big Kahuna burger?
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
This update brought to you by Vulcan Design and Construction. Check out their award-winning outdoor living designs or schedule your free design consultation at vulcandc.com. First on the fan, the Trailblazers continue their homestand tonight, hosting the Clippers. 7 o'clock tip on K2 2.2 on your antenna and 302 on Xfinity. Donovan Clingan out at least a week after spraining an ankle in Sunday's loss to the Nets. Robert Williams III, Jeremy Grant, Matisse Thybulle, they are all also out. Denny Avdia, a game-time decision. The Blazers are 7-point dogs. A TNT doubleheader tonight in the association. First up at 4:30, another matchup of the top two teams in the league. Cavaliers at the Thunder. OKC, 2-point favorites. That's followed by the Kings. They are 4-point favorites hosting the Rockets. In the college game, Oregon State men's hoops, 10-1 at home, hosting number 16 Gonzaga. 8 o'clock tip on CBS Sports Network. The Portland Pilots, meanwhile, they're looking for their first conference win, hosting Pacific up on the Bluff. Coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starts at 6:30, tip at 7 o'clock. That game can also be seen on ESPN+. And sad news from Major League Baseball. Legendary Brewers broadcaster and actor Bob Uecker passed away this morning. Uecker spent 6 seasons in the bigs as a backup catcher before becoming the voice of the Brewers in 1971. Probably best known as Harry Doyle from the Major League movies. Bob Uecker was 90. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Do it every morning. Dirt and Spray. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
On today's version of As the Cowboys Turn, Jane Slater, based obviously in Dallas, covers the NFL, and has covered the Cowboys for a long time, but she reported for the NFL Network. Had this about, an hour ago now. One thing to watch following Jerry Jones' initial discussions with Dion Sanders. Two people in knowledge of the situation tell me Sanders approached Colorado AD Rick George Tuesday about additional money for NIL and his staff. He was met with resistance.
Well, this comes on the heels of Colorado's NIL collective shuttered earlier this week. And a lot of people are saying, like, this is what's going to happen. A lot of collectives are going to start folding up shop because everybody's pushing money towards the universities now, and the $20.5 million are going to be paid out to student athletes. Well, not every collective is shutting down.
No.
And this may signal something else. And I do believe that Dion is being met with some resistance because they've pony up a ton of money to get this thing off the ground at Colorado. And if you're Colorado and Dion was, oh no, I'm going to be here long after, Shedeur and Shiloh and Travis are gone. Are you? Because already you're talking about NFL jobs and they're not even gone yet. They just got done playing and they're still not drafted into the NFL, and you're already talking about leaving.
Yeah, Deion Sanders was reached out to and didn't respond when reached multiple times for comment. Ed Werder, also long time in Dallas ESPN reporter, he has stated that through the conversations that Deion Sanders is being encouraged by those close to him to pursue the opportunity with the Cowboys. Look, I said this the other day. This is the whole my whole tinfoil hat thing. This is done. This feels like it's done.
The only thing that we don't know, though, is what we talked about yesterday.
Shedeur.
No. It is Jerry Jones is going rogue, and he's on his own with this.
Oh, yeah.
And so you don't know what is true or not because it's a one-man operation.
He can flip it on his head if he wants to.
Well, there are no leaks coming out right now because he's doing this by himself. So usually these are leaks from people who several people have an idea of what's going on and somebody talks. This is Jerry Jones. And one thing we know about Jerry Jones, he won't leak something. He just comes out and says it himself.
To 20 people with a microphone in front of him.
Yeah. So we don't know who is in and who is out. Right now, all you have is like the thinly veiled. And that's why Dion is a name that is being bandied about so often is because what do we know about Jerry Jones? He likes splash hires. He'll do it his way.
Mm-hmm.
He will go against the grain and do things for shock value. That all kind of lines up with Dion going there. Dion was a Cowboy. You have several people that say that they need to reevaluate the quarterback position. The one thing that doesn't align here is that Dion isn't going to coach if Shedeur's not his quarterback, right? Jerry Jones loves Dak Prescott. Gave him a butt ton of money that everybody said, why are you giving him this money?
Mm-hmm. The same thing he did with Ezekiel Elliott.
That would also mean, though, that Jerry Jones would have to admit he was wrong to just this past, September, give Dak Prescott the deal he gave him.
And it took him 2 years to do it with Zeke, right?
Do we think that Jerry's going to do that quickly?
No, but also on the flip side of this, I think this is, to use a euphemism here, Terry's hitting the pipe and going, or Jerry, not Terry, Jerry's hitting the pipe and going, screw it, I'm on my last legs. Let's try all the drugs. Let's do all the things, and let's just take this thing off the rails and see what happens.
That is just as believable as a rational conversation about this, and that's why Dion's name is being talked about so much because it is something that the talking heads will want to talk about. And we're sitting there being like, oh, ESPN is talking about it nonstop. It's the same network that is like, should Mike Tomlin be traded?
Yeah. Well, did you see? I want to give a little bit of guff to the four-letter network. They had a talking point around Cavs Thunder last week, where the question was, what would a title to Cleveland without LeBron mean? It was a real thing.
See,
and it's just like,
and here's
go
where
to hell.
Here's where it kind of spirals out of control. Is that it's like, well, there's some real traction to it. A lot of people are talking about it. You started the conversation.
But I mean, it is wagging the dog for sure.
Because Mike Tomlin even said, he's like, save your time.
Yeah.
Save your breath.
But with Dion and Jerry, like, this does feel like it's something.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like, if it's not Bill Belichick, who's the next biggest name that's out there?
And like
Dion Sanders.
And Mike McCarthy was the well, let's keep it normal hire. You think Jerry's going to keep it normal now? No.
Mike McCarthy is a good football coach, but have you seen the record comparisons with like Mike McCarthy, Mike Tomlin?
Yeah.
And they're like, does he get a bad rap?
Yes.
I think the big difference between him and those other coaches, though, is that when his teams lose, you can draw a line to the head coach. You can point
at him, yeah.
With Mike Tomlin, it is
usually
that
talent
dude
deficit.
maximized everything, and they still got there and fell short. I think there's a big difference, but that doesn't mean that Mike McCarthy is a bad head coach.
No.
And that's the thing. Mike McCarthy isn't a bad head coach. He's a perfectly fine head coach, but
better than average.
He is also, a lot of those wins were with Aaron Rodgers, right?
In his prime.
A lot of the wins in Dallas were with a really good offensive line, and you had, like this year, wheels fell off. You had one receiver, your offensive line, due to attrition, retirement, it's not as strong as it once was. Your quarterback gets hurt, and boom, you become back to normal again.
It's a tough place to be.
Yeah.
It's almost like, being a great head coach can be tied with having a great quarterback.
Ding, ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding,
I'm not
ding,
sure how
ding,
Bill
ding,
Belichick
ding.
feels about that.
Every head coach is good because their quarterback is good.
I wonder how any NBA coach feels about winning titles with Hall of Famers.
But you know what? You've also had really good quarterbacks not get to the mountaintop because they didn't have a head coach.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It matters. All right, coming up next, we'll wrap things up with a look at the Portland Trailblazers tonight, taking on the Los Angeles Clippers, some news and notes, and more here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan. Portland Trailblazers taking on the Los Angeles Clippers here in a couple of hours. Some injury news and notes. Donovan Clingan will be out at least a week with a sprained left ankle. Good news, bad news. Good news is it's only just a mild sprain. It sounds like it'll be one of those things when he's ready to go, he'll return to action pretty quick. I would expect that he would not play on the road trip that's coming up. But when they come back and have the 7-game homestand, that he probably returns then. Robert Williams III has been upgraded to questionable tonight.
Will the Clippers win by 59 in the second of a back-to-back?
No. Kawhi Leonard is not playing for the Clippers tonight because he is not playing on back-to-backs yet, even though he looked good last night. But then again,
I don't think he'll ever play in the second of a back-to-back.
Probably not. But Robert Williams is upgraded. For those wondering, no, he was not being put in bubble wrap and hidden away. He was sick. He's had the same nasty flu thing that's been going around through the NBA. It was whooping his butt. He was keeping him away from the team. So
that's no good.
Denny Avdia, I've been told, is day-to-day.
Okay.
He rolled his ankle right at the end of practice day before yesterday, which is why he didn't play last night or night before last.
Yikes.
But I was told that wasn't something to worry about. But Denny has now rolled his ankle and had the kind of knee buckle incident, so maybe let him chill for a couple of days. I can just tell you, this time of year, it's not just the Trailblazers. Everybody's just trying to make it to the All-Star break so they can get 2 weeks off. Everyone's just trying to get, because you don't get healthy.
Survival.
You don't get healthy in that time period, but stuff calms down.
Yeah.
Like the nicks and scrapes and dings and swellings and all that kind of stuff. It just you go somewhere near the equator. You get some heat on it. You get a few daiquiris.
When you just rest.
Yeah,
for a
you
while.
rest and recharge. Your body just stops getting beat up for a couple of weeks.
Yep.
And then you play the final. Was it 34 or 35 games down the stretch, and you call it good? That's basically where you're at.
Well, that's still a month away.
Where are we at now? Today is the 16th.
It's a month away.
Yeah,
it's always Valentine's weekend, isn't it?
So it's the 12th, so a little bit less. But yeah, you're right there.
That's my kid's birthday.
They will. They're going to put up a fight tonight, I think.
Against
At
the Clippers?
home,
Yeah.
second of a back-to-back. LA had to play last night, fly up.
Well, they did get to chill
Portland
in the entire second half.
Oh, that is true. When you win by 59 points.
So that's the thing.
These wins are far more important to the Clippers. Gosh, that is one of the sad things, just being like, yeah, wins and losses, they don't matter. But in all
losses
honesty,
matter.
They do. For the Clippers too. Clippers are the 5th seed in the West right now.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing we haven't really talked much about is that Russell Westbrook being inserted back into the starting lineup for the Denver Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, they're on a tear right now, and they're only a game and a half back of Memphis for the 3rd seed in the West. They're sitting in a really good spot right now, with Oklahoma City and Houston just kind of out to an early charge out west.
Away.
They're sitting there. That 3 through 6 race is going to be tight.
Yeah, because you have teams like the Lakers and Warriors that have just fallen on spikes recently, and the Suns.
And that was something that we all saw coming with Golden State too.
Yeah, I mean, especially with
their hot start,
12-3 to start.
Yeah,
that lets you know how poor they have been.
They can make a move.
I mean, Steph and Draymond both said publicly last night no, and that it would be irresponsible of the franchise to do it. I think both of them got up there and said that to basically tamp down the pressure on the front office of trying to deliver, because.
You should go get that Klay Thompson guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about this. If behind the scenes, Steph and Draymond are putting pressure on the organization and it becomes known,
yeah.
Well, then other organizations are going to want to extract more. And I think they had them both go, no, we're not in any kind of hurry. When for the past 18 months, all you've heard behind the scenes is that Steph is very much in a hurry and doesn't want to spend the twilight of his career playing meaningless games. So you have him go out there and read off the paper. No, I think it would be financially and a franchise irresponsibility if we did do this.
Steph seems like a guy who's not going to hang on for too long, though.
No.
I wonder how many more years Steph Curry is going to actually even play.
As many as those contract runs out for, because he's getting $60 million a year.
Yeah.
That's the difference. The whole hanging on thing, that's why now. But they're like, oh, we want to win. But it's no.
He's 36 and he's got 3 left?
Mm-hmm. At $60 million plus.
So about 3, he'll have 3 years left.
Yeah,
he'll have 3 years left because he's not going to get $60 million again, and he can just bankroll everything that he's been making so much money.
Yeah, I mean, he's the face of Under Armour. They gave him $100 million to run the basketball division. So
how's that going?
I mean, playing basketball last night, a lot of Currys on feet.
Yeah, my kid wears Steph's.
Yeah.
They're cheaper, though.
Mm-hmm.
They're not as expensive as Nikes are.
No, Kobe's are still reigning supreme out there.
Yeah. But
and Sabrina's. So
we did my kid this last Christmas. She asked for a pair of Jordans. We found her a pair of Jordans.
Nice.
Yeah.
Moving up in the world.
The first J's are always nice.
What kind of Jordans did you get her?
I don't know. They were Jordans.
Oh.
They had some black and like some like golden brown on there and some white, and they look good. They look good. Yeah.
Right.
And they weren't cheap. They were not cheap because they're Jordans.
No, they are Jordans.
Yes.
And they're really stinking expensive.
Yeah, but they look good.
Real quick on an update, totally unrelated.
Okay.
But, Wu-Tang is for the children.
Oh,
and
it is.
Even more so because there's now a report out.
Cash rolls everything around me.
Well,
cream.
Method Man apparently beat the living crap out of his daughter's ex-boyfriend.
Dude, wait.
He probably had it coming.
I'm going to go ahead and say yes, but how old is Method? He's 53.
53. He
53.
allegedly punched Patrick Sequoia, 28, in the face 7 times with a closed fist. And if you haven't seen what
Probably had it
Method
coming.
Man looks like right now...
Yeah, he looks like HGH.
Yeah. Look, man, let he who is not, all right? Like
I've seen him on some like Law and Order SVU like a good decade ago too.
My man is swole.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it was at a Crunch Fitness.
You better step lightly when you're dating a Wu-Tang dude's daughter.
It was allegedly involved in assault on a family friend at Crunch Fitness in Staten Island.
Huh. Wait, family friend or both ex-boyfriend?
Yeah, I'm reading 2 different things here. So, boyfriend, ex-boyfriend.
Okay.
I'm imagining a situation where somebody may have done something illicit towards his daughter.
Yeah,
it does say ex-boyfriend here. So
Again, if you got into something with Method Man, I'm just going to go ahead and guess that you are in the wrong.
Yeah, he crossed his daughter.
I mean, I'm not going to go that far and just assume that he's always in the right, but
I'm telling you,
I'm going to go ahead and say at the Crunch Fitness, he wasn't in the wrong there.
Look, Wu-Tang is for the children, especially these hands.
Yeah, maybe he thought he was at a Planet Fitness and it was the lunk alarm. Maybe he was just really bothering him.
I hate that stupid thing. It's a real thing.
Well, do you go to a Planet Fitness that has a lunk alarm?
Yes.
So if you drop the weights too loudly, an actual alarm
There's
goes
a
off?
thing on the wall.
Isn't that counterproductive to the actual
distraction? Yes.
You make a loud noise, so they make a louder noise?
Pretty much.
Well, it's like when I worked at Old Chicago and you'd hear somebody like drop a dish in the back of the kitchen and everybody would just clap their hands. Ah!
I mean, that's fun.
Yeah. But I mean, they're not shaming you over that. That's
that's the
rite
whole
of
point of
passage.
it.
No,
Yeah,
they're trying to go down the Opa line.
Yeah. All right. Okay, well, that does it for us today. Up next, you got 4 hours of power from their mouths to your ears. It's Prime Time with Isaac and Suk. 4-hour Blazer pregame show, I think, is what Isaac said today.
At least 3.
He shook his head yes. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Football Friday. We get ready for the playoffs and the college football playoff national championship game. Have a great Thursday, everybody. See you Friday from noon to 3 right here on The Fan.
Bye.
Just a reminder, fans, about Die Hard Night coming up here at the stadium. Free admission to anyone who was actually alive the last time the Indians won a pennant.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed. Ball 4. Ball 8. Low, and Vaughn has walked the bases loaded on 12 straight pitches.
Boy, how can these guys lay off pitches that close?
That's all. We got one damn hit.
You can't say damn on the air.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
Isaac and Suk here with Ken and Donnie, the advocates.
But I'm guessing more often than not, when an insurance company makes you an offer, that offer is not in your best interest.
It is not in your best interest to say yes.
So after the first offer comes the first call to Donican, to the advocates.
Hopefully before that first offer. I mean, don't let them just call it, because these guys are so nice. They're trained to be that way, and they sound like they're on your side. I promise they're not.
You need more than a lawyer. You deserve an advocate. Advocateslaw.com.
This sandwich is not just spicy, it's flavorful. Hi, Hi, this is Patayo. And this is Elsa. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is that spicy kick. Because the spice comes in at just the right moment. Oh, no. A little thing I love is that cilantro lime sauce. It's a fun blend of zesty and bold. That's what really makes me happy. Are you going to eat all your fries?
Order a Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich and a Diet Dr. Pepper on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Helping your inner circle prepare for emergencies can start in many ways. Put together an emergency kit with WipeWall. Create a family communication plan with your tita. Remind Bai to keep a backup battery charged. It all starts with a simple step, telling those you care about to be ready for the worst. So start a conversation and plan for emergencies together. Get more tips at ready.gov/start. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, Portland, it's Sprague. My friends at Three Mountains Home Services are hiring HVAC technicians to join their team. Outside of paying their employees good salaries, Three Mountains Home Services offers no work on the weekends,